go through in detail the specific injuries that he sustained that you viewed?
The primary injury that he had again was the wound to his heart. He also had something we call a hemopneumothorax. That's a complex term which basically meant that he had a collapsed lung with blood outside of the lung, were the two primary injuries. He also had an injury to his neck, which at the time we saw him, we were concerned that it had injured either the esophagus, which is the tube we all use to swallow, or his trachea, which is the tube we all use to breathe. And that concern arose from the fact that when we actually put the breathing tube in, there was a lot of blood inside of his mouth that we had to suction out. But we didn't know the degree of those injuries or where those specifically were. We just had suspicion based on seeing him in the presentation.
Have you had experience treating gunshot wounds before?
I have, yes.
Were these injuries consistent with gunshot wounds?
I would say they were.
Now, Dr. Crenshaw, let me ask you a couple of questions on behalf of Mr. Roberts. Is that all right?
Absolutely.
Now, what I'm gathering from what you testified to is that what you saw was a gunshot wound, what appeared to be a gunshot wound, coming into the chest, meaning this part in front of your body. Is that right?
The chest could be directly what we call the most interior part of the body. The chest, it extends out to the lateral portions as well, if that makes sense. So it doesn't just mean the flattest part in the front. It could mean kind of the side area as well.
Okay. And so, just so we can be 100% clear, when you're using that term to describe an injury, you don't mean somebody's back.
Typically not, although I've seen people refer to that as the posterior chest, depending on how far lateral it is.
Okay. So if in fact it came from the back, you would use the word posterior, right?
Possibly.
Okay. Well, in this case, did you see any injuries to Mr. Jones's back?
I did not.